Okay, so I'm back. Next morning, from when we did the other episodes, literally had to get up. Just had to, I go to a structural doctor. I'm blessed, and I just reiterate what I think I said in an episode or two ago. With good people in my life and God's blessings, I think since my ankle was terrible, I went to someone offered to help me for free, and it was like I hate taking things for free. Although I get a lot for free, that's partially why. But he offered to do it for free, and I was like, thank goodness, because the things he does, I can't afford it. I have no money for that stuff. But literally, he offers to do it for free, and I thought it was just once off. But he's like, keep coming back, and my only way that I can really thank him is his wife owns the coffee store right next to his practice, so I end up going to the coffee store and buying coffee, and then that's my contribution for now until I can get better. Maybe hopefully I did offer my services for free, so I'm going to try to do that for him, so at least then there's an exchange there rather than him just giving me something for free, because although I do appreciate it, if there's something I can give back, I'll always give back. And like I said, just building on yesterday, just lucky in the sense of I'm looked after in so many different areas of my life, and who's calling me now? Yeah, so that will be dealt with later. It's a bit of work. I'll deal with it just now though. So basically, I ended up going to the coffee store today, and we just sat and we chatted. We usually chat quite often, or for quite some time, and it's just nice. I mean, things that I always sit and I stress about, or like these perspectives that you have, or these misconceptions that you have about where you need to be in your life, what you need to be doing, how things need to be operating. These guys kind of do very well in the sense of they explain it to me what they've gone through, and they break it down as where they were, and it lets you realize that not necessarily, or not realize that everyone's path is different. Yes. Okay. Not everyone's path is different. Everyone's path is different, and no one's path is perfect. That's what I need to remember. So if you're going through anything, I think just think of that. Like I've said in the last 13 episodes, I think, and I even spoke to the lady about it, the wife today about it, is that there are situations where I get a bit stressed in the sense of I don't know what the outcome will be, and I don't know if it's going to pay off or if it's not going to reward me, if it's going to just put me in a situation where I've wasted time. And first things first, you will always have time, so remember that. There's always time to fix whatever's broken. There's always time to heal whatever's been hurt. And the second thing was, where was I going with this? There was a second thing. Focus on your part. It's literally do your part well, and if your part is done well, then don't worry about everyone else's parts. Their parts are, it can affect your path, but then maybe that's for the best. If you have this attitude of you trying to do everyone's stuff for them, or you're stressing because there's things that you can't control, it just adds stress to your life. It ruins your mood, it ruins your attitude, it hurts your perception of everything. Rather do your part well, and if it doesn't work out, then you know that it was meant to be. And like I said, just give it time. Today, Genesis 25:19 to 34. We're getting some big parts here. So this is Jacob and Esau. So we've we actually miss Abraham dying. That's quite sad. Abraham's been such a 4 days we've had read about Abraham, and now he's dead, and we don't even touch on that. Okay, that's interesting. Now I'm actually gonna double check that. Let me just double check it, because I feel like 24, 28 to 67. Okay, 24, 28 to 67. Okay, so we actually on Genesis 24, 28 to 67. That's why I write these down, because before I used to just go, oh, that's what day I'm on, and I'll do it, and then I realize I've missed a day, we've missed a day anyway, so the 365th day is literally just going to be a reflection, I guess. Okay. Yo, I need to sneeze, but it's not letting me. So yeah. Yo, my abs are so stuffed. Flap. But so we got 28 to 67. Read with me if you would like to read. If you wouldn't like to read, listen to me read. My great voice. So the young woman ran home to tell her family everything that had happened. Now Rebecca had a brother named Laban, who ran out to meet the man at the spring. He had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrists, and he heard Rebecca tell what the man had said. So he rushed out to the spring, where the man was still standing beside the camels. Laban said to him, "Come stay with us, you who are blessed by the Lord. Why are you standing here outside the town when I have room for you already for you, and a place prepared for the camels?" So the man went home with Laban, and Laban unloaded the camels and gave him straw for their bedding, fed them, and provided water for the man and the camels' drivers to wash their feet. When the food was served, but Abraham's servant said, Then the food was served, but Abraham's servant said, "I do not want to eat until I have told you why I have come." "All right," Laban said, "tell us." "I'm Abraham's servant," he explained. "The Lord has greatly blessed my master. He has become a wealthy man. The Lord has given him flocks of sheep and goats, herds of cattle, a fortune in silver and gold, and many male and female servants and camels and donkeys. When Sarah, my master's wife, was very old, she gave birth to my master's son. And my master has given him everything he owns. And my master made me take an oath," he said. "Do not allow my son to marry one of these local Canaanite women. Go instead to my father's house, to my relatives, and find me a wife for my son." But I said to my master, "What if I can't find a young woman who is willing to go back with me?" He responded, "The Lord, in whose presence I have lived, will send an angel with you and will make your mission successful. Yes, you must find a wife for my son from among my relatives, from my father's family. Then you will have fulfilled your obligation. But if you go to my relatives and refuse to let her go with you, you will be free from my oath." So today I came to the spring. I prayed this prayer: "O Lord God of my master Abraham, please give me success on this mission. See, I am standing here beside the spring. This is my request. When a young woman comes to draw water, I will say to her, 'Please give me a little drink of water from your jug.' If she says, 'Yes, have a drink,' and I will draw water from your camels, for your camels too, let her be the one that you have selected to be the wife of my master's son." Still 67. Okay. Before I had finished praying in my heart, I saw Rebecca coming out with her water jug on her shoulder. She went down to the spring and drew water, so I said to her, "Please give me a drink." She quickly lowered her jug from her shoulder and said, "Yes, have a drink and I will water your camels too." So I drank, and she watered the camels. Then I asked, "Whose daughter are you?" She replied, "I'm the daughter of Bethuel, and my grandparents are Nahor and Milcah." So I put a ring on her nose and bracelets on her wrist. Then I bowed low and worshipped the Lord. I praised the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, because he had led me straight to my master's niece to be his son's wife. So tell me, will you or won't you show unfailing love and faithfulness to my master? Please tell me yes or no, and then I'll know what to do next." Laban and Bethuel replied, The Lord has obviously brought you here, so there's nothing we can say. Here's Rebecca. Take her and go. Yes, her to be the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has directed." When Abraham's servant heard the answer, he bowed down to the ground and worshipped the Lord. Then he brought out silver and gold jewelry and clothing and presented it to Rebekah. He also gave expensive presents to her brother and her mother, and then they ate their meal. The servants and the men with him stayed there overnight. But early the next morning, Abraham's servant said, "Send me back to my master." "But when we want Rebekah to stay with us at least 10 days, her brother said, and mother said, "then she can go." But he said, "Don't delay me. The Lord has made my mission successful. Now send me back so I can return to my master." "Well," they said, "we'll call Rebekah and ask her what she thinks." So they called Rebekah. "Are you willing to go with this man?" they asked her, and she replied, "Yes, I will go." So they said goodbye to Rebekah and sent her on her way with Abraham's servant and his men. The woman who had been Rebekah's childhood nurse went along with her. They gave her this blessing as she parted: "Our sister, may you become the mother of many millions. May your descendants be strong, and may conquer cities of their enemies." Then Rebekah and her servants girls mounted the camels and followed the man. So Abraham's servant took Rebekah and went on his way. Meanwhile, Isaac, whose home was in Negev, had returned from Beer-lahai-roi. One evening, as he was walking and meditating in the fields, he looked up and saw camels coming. When Rebekah looked up and saw Isaac, she quickly dismounted her camel. "Who is that man walking through the fields to meet us?" she asked the servant, and he replied, "It is my master." So Rebekah covered her face with her veil. Then the servant told Isaac everything he had done. And Isaac brought Rebekah into his mother Sarah's tent, and she became his wife. He loved her deeply, and she was a special comfort to him after the death of his mother. Yo! So it's quite long. For me, just what we're seeing there is, I don't know. I don't see it as much as positive as I would like to. I think time would be reasonable, but obviously they weren't blessed that. You look at what's happened, and obviously they got a lot for what ended up happening. But yeah, I think it's pretty daunting. I'd be upset if my sister just left the next day to marry some guy that she's never met. Although somewhat related, I think that would also be a bit weird, or I don't think that is a bit weird now. I guess these times are just different, like I explained earlier. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's an interesting thing. So this is just looking at essentially the task was complete, the mission was successful, and in order to make sure that it was successful, they literally they moved along swiftly. So we'll see what comes of it. I think some of you might know. I don't know because I don't remember. But yeah, it's very interesting. So if we go into this first part, so when Elzah told his story to Laban, he spoke openly of God and his goodness. Often we do the opposite, afraid that we will be misunderstood or rejected or seen as too religious. Instead, we should share openly what God is doing for us. Sorry, my nose. I think it's the cats. But that, I think that's relevant. And I still get somewhat nervous just going, no, I'll speak about God in that sense, because there are so many people that don't believe, but also there's people with bad experiences, and we did a video on that. And then also people just, you can see they don't really care. And I always, I say, my line is to each their own. If you don't care, that's fine. But if I'm talking to you and I'm sharing a story and I'm giving context on my thought process, this is now something that's coming in. So yeah, it's different, and it's how things are dealt with, I guess. So yeah, even today, there was a situation I'm going through where essentially I need to sit and accept what might be the result of it, and I did get clarity on how things have had worked for other people when they've been in these situations, and it gave me a bit of hope in the sense of, like, from what everyone else is saying, it's not the way I think it would go, but then it has worked for someone, meaning that there's always a possibility it will work for you. My part is just to do my part, and like you said, you can't stress if other people don't do their part, or if they don't do if their part doesn't align with yours, because at the end of the day, it's out of my control. I'm doing my part. I'm growing in this sense. I'm doing, like I said, I've started training again. I'm so sore. Every part of me doesn't want to operate anymore. I'm gonna go to bio, and they're gonna rub places, and I'm gonna be like, that's stiff. I don't know if it's stiffness or if it's just pain, but yeah, all these things are, like, I'm doing my part. And they asked me, like, how would I feel if certain circumstances didn't go my way, and I was like, it sounds wrong, but like, I'd be indifferent, but I would be sad. So I say I'd be indifferent in the sense of I'd accept it a lot quicker than I think I should. People would like, but I would be sad about the situation. And the reason why I say indifferent is because I'm at that stage right now where if God doesn't want it, then you you go with it and accept it. And because it might not happen now, but it might happen later, or these opportunities that you have now might not be the ones that are being called for, or sometimes it just requires time. And that's what I learned today as well, is that you'd like things to be done in your time, and fair enough, our time is the best time. That's how we all think, but sometimes there must be time, there must be room to do what needs to be done. And if it's not done correctly, it can hurt you just as much as if it's done halfway, if it's not done at all. And yeah, so when it comes to speaking to God about God, I think a lot of people are shy, and I understand that. I'm also a shy person when it comes to this stuff, but then I also just go, like, this is my experience, this is my thought process, this is where I am at my life, and this is why I think what I do. And I've never been told that I'm wrong, put it that way. So about what my thought process is, or speaking about this stuff, no one's actively come and attacked me for it. And sometimes I even get even more respect, because I'm doing it from a sense of following where God leads you. And some people might not understand that, but they can respect it in that sense. It's that they don't understand it. If you, like, listen, there'll always be people that will question and stuff like that, but for the most part they don't. And if you're scared of that little few that will, then harden up. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes you just need to be firm in what you believe. We've gone over that in the last couple of days. Obedience needs to be apparent. It needs to be, yeah, you need to obey. It's not a thing of I'll obey when I want to, Okay. Then when Rebecca saw Isaac, her husband-to-be, coming to greet them, she followed two ancient Middle Eastern customs. She dismounted her camel to show respect, and she placed a veil over her face as a bride. Okay, so there we go. Like we say, these are different times. Things that are happening here don't necessarily mean they need to happen today. Like prearranged marriage, I don't want to get into too much depth of that, but I'm not the biggest fan. I think that we need to understand the person we're with. We need to spend time with that person. We need to, and that could be in pre-marriage, but in this case it wasn't. But yeah, so that's our story so far. I mean, sorry, my nose is terrible right now. But yeah, literally, it's just Isaac meeting his wife, and how customs were different back then, and then also speaking about God to people that we are yet to know. Not listen. That doesn't mean everything needs to be, because I know some people go, oh, not everything needs to be a preaching session, and that's very true. Not everything needs to be a preaching session, but it is good when you speaking about values, morals, when you're speaking about actions, and when you're speaking about things that are positively impacting people, that you mention that maybe God was your influence for this, or maybe God's showing His presence here. In some negative things, I mean, we can always say there's tests being done, there's trials being done, but yeah. So that's just my thought on everything. It's a bit of a quick one in terms of thoughts and processes. It's just a longer story. It's just a chronological thing of what happens, because I guess when we talk about Jacob and Esau in the next part, we are going to touch on that stuff. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm getting very old, but let's see what happens. Hope you guys have a good day. Hope everything goes well. If you have any questions, any comments, any alternative theories, maybe you even have a lesson here that I'm missing, let me know. I'm always keen to hear people out and see what their perspective is. But yeah, have a good one.